The battlefield was silent now. Only the smoldering airships and the cries of the dying broke the emptiness. The war between Earth's coalition and the Vharan Empire had finally ended, if you could call this charred wasteland peace. I dragged myself through the wreckage, my armor dented, my rifle empty, my body barely responding. Every step hurt. Every breath felt like glass in my lungs. But I kept moving, because somewhere beyond the wreckage was her, the alien queen. Her name was Sarathra, ruler of the Vharans, the tall, silver-skinned beings who had nearly wiped out humanity. And yet, in the chaos of war, she had once saved my life. The first time we met it had been months ago. During the siege of Caldris Base, I was a field medic, patching up soldiers while the enemy broke through our walls. I was pulling a wounded sergeant from a burning vehicle when the roof collapsed. Fire engulfed everything. I should have died there. But when I woke up, I wasn't dead. I was in a chamber filled with strange blue light. My wounds were sealed, my armor removed, and standing over me was a woman with shimmering skin and eyes like molten gold. "You should be dead," she'd said, her voice melodic and alien. "Yet you cling to life." "Why, I don't know," I had whispered. "Strange," she murmured. "Humans are fragile, but stubborn." That was my first encounter with Queen Sarathra. She healed me, an enemy soldier, and sent me back to my people with no explanation. When my commanders interrogated me, I couldn't tell them why she spared me. I didn't even know myself, but that moment stayed burned into my memory, and so did her touch. Back to the present now, months later, the war had ended in fire and betrayal. Both sides had lost everything. The Vharan capital was in ruins. Earth's fleets were shattered, and in this quiet graveyard of soldiers I saw her again. She was kneeling beside a fallen warrior, one of her own, placing a hand over his heart. The blue light from her palm faded as his body turned to silver dust. A Vharan burial ritual, her armor was cracked. Her crown was gone. She looked tired, almost human. I raised my rifle on instinct, but my hands trembled too much to fire. She turned her gaze to me, calm and steady. "So," she said softly, "you lived." I lowered the weapon. "I could say the same to you." Her lips curved faintly. "I was not sure if I would." I stepped closer, limping. "You saved me once. I thought maybe I could return the favor." "You are far too late for that," she replied. "My empire has fallen. My people are gone. And yet," I said quietly, "you're still here." Her golden eyes met mine. "As are you." The scar we stood there among the ruins, silent except for the wind. I could feel the sting of the old wound across my face, a jagged scar running from my brow to my jawline. A gift from that same battle at Caldris Base. She reached out slowly, hesitantly, as if asking for permission. When I didn't move, her fingers brushed the scar. Her touch was warm, strangely human, yet charged with energy. The faint hum of her biofield pulsed against my skin. "You survived," she whispered, her voice trembling now. "Even after all that," I nodded. "You gave me that chance," her expression softened. "I gave you nothing. You took it. You refused to die. And you?" I asked. "What kept you alive?" Her eyes flickered with something, pain maybe. "Hope," she said finally. "A foolish, fragile thing. The Queen's burden, we found shelter in a ruined dome, a Vharan temple, its crystal walls cracked but still glowing faintly." She lit a bioluminescent orb, and for the first time I saw the exhaustion in her face. The regal poise she always carried was gone. "Why are you still here?" I asked. "Your fleet withdrew." "You could have escaped." She looked away. "A queen should fall with her people." "That's not survival," I said. "That's surrender!" "Spoken like a human," she murmured. "You never know when to stop fighting." "Maybe that's what makes us dangerous," I said. "And alive." Her golden eyes flicked back to mine. "Or foolish," I gave a faint smile. "Both can be true." She almost smiled back. The memory of fire outside, the storm raged across the wasteland, scattering ash like snow. We sat in silence, two enemies with no war left to fight. "You lost someone," I said quietly. "Didn't you?" Her eyes darkened. "My daughter. She led the first assault against your world. She believed in conquest. I believed in balance." "I'm sorry." "She was brave," Sarathra said softly, but she could not see the cost of endless victory. Her hand tightened on her knee, the faint blue light of grief rippling beneath her skin. I hesitated, then said, "I lost my brother." Same war, same madness. Her gaze met mine again, two survivors of different worlds bound by the same pain. The connection hours passed. The silence between us grew easier. When I finally spoke again, my voice was low. "When I was in your care, you told me humans were fragile, but I think we're not so different. You bleed, you grieve."
"You hope," she tilted her head.
"Perhaps that is why I could not kill you." I frowned. "You said it wasn't mercy." "It wasn't," she said. "It was recognition." "Of what?" She leaned forward. "Of something I had forgotten, that even in endless war, there is beauty in life. You reminded me." Her words hit harder than any bullet. I looked at her, really looked. The alien queen who had once commanded armies now sat in the ashes, her silver skin dimmed, her crown gone, yet still radiant. "Maybe that's what survival is," I said, "finding something worth remembering." The queen's choice, as dawn broke, faint orange light spilled across the ruins. I stood by the broken archway, scanning the horizon. The coalition would come soon. If they found her, they'd execute her on sight. "You should go," I said. "My people won't show mercy." She rose slowly, the light reflecting off her armor. "And if I stay?" "You'll die," she smiled sadly. "Then perhaps that is peace." I stepped closer. "No, you've already done enough dying. Let me help you." Her eyes searched mine, uncertain. "Why would you do that?" "You owe me nothing." "Maybe not," I said. "But you once gave me life. Now it's my turn." For a moment, she said nothing. Then she reached up again, fingers grazing my scar. "You survived," she whispered. "You remind me that hope is not extinct." She let her hand fall. "Very well, human. Lead the way." The escape. We moved through the ruins under the pale morning light. I guided her toward the old transport tunnels beneath the city, where coalition patrols wouldn't look. As we walked, I caught her watching me. "What?" I asked. "You are different from the others," she said. "You fight, but you do not hate. I've seen enough hate to know it doesn't end anything." She nodded slowly. "Perhaps humans are wiser than I believed. Or just tired," I muttered. The last goodbye, at the tunnel entrance, I stopped. "This leads to the wastelands. There's an old port there, abandoned. You can find a ship." She stepped past me, then paused. "And you?" "I'll stay. Someone has to make sure you get away." Her golden eyes softened. "You would risk your life for your enemy?" "You're not my enemy anymore." Something flickered in her gaze, something almost tender. Then, to my surprise, she reached out one last time and pressed her palm to my chest. A soft blue light pulsed between us, flowing from her hand into my heart. "What are you doing?" I asked, startled. "Giving you a memory," she said. "So that even if the world forgets me, you will not." Her eyes shone brighter. "When they ask who I was, tell them this. I was not a conqueror. I was a mother who learned too late what peace meant." I swallowed hard. "I'll tell them," she smiled faintly. "Goodbye, survivor." And then she turned and disappeared into the tunnels, her silver form fading into the light. Epilogue. Weeks later, I was rescued by a coalition patrol. They asked about the queen. I told them she was dead, buried beneath the ruins. They believed me. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I feel that faint warmth on my chest, the echo of her light, and I remember her words. "You survived." Maybe that was all she wanted for both of us. To survive. And to remember